The question that I get from buyers right now is now a good time to buy or should I wait? Well, stick around, let's have that conversation. So the question is now a good time to buy or should I wait? I'm gonna preface the next part by saying this. Whenever you are ready to buy a home, that is the time. There are a lot of extenuating circumstances that goes into why someone wants or needs to buy a house. It could be that a lease is run up and they're ready to start owning a house, and now's the time, and it doesn't matter when it is. It could be the fact that maybe someone had a windfall and they have a substantial amount of cash that they have on hand to make a substantial down payment to get into a home. Whatever the reason is, whenever the right time is for you, that's the right time for you to purchase a home. And it doesn't matter anything that I say next. If now is the right time, it's the right time, regardless. Having said that, if you have been looking over the summer months and you've start to hear this process, or you get what we call buyer's fatigue, and you're like, I think I'm just gonna back up and just wait for the market to cool off and I'm gonna re-engage in the spring of next year or at the beginning of next year. Well, if that is your reasoning, this video is for you. So I'm actually going to click over. I'm gonna try to do some fancy stuff. So watch this. So we're gonna click over and go into a screen mode. So watch. Okay, so you're thinking about waiting, putting off the buying process until later in the spring or until next year. All right, so here's what I would like for you to do, because you're thinking about doing that because you're thinking you're going to wait for things to cool down, you're going to wait for prices to come down, that sort of thing. All right, so here's what I want you to look at. First of all, I want you to look at the prices over here at 2011. Now, even though there are dips and there are peaks and there are valleys and that sort of thing, what we notice also is that overall the prices tend to rise. The prices of real estate tends to rise from year to year. It is one of those safe bets. As one author said, you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate, then wait, because you know that as an investment, it will continue to grow for you. Now, as we look at this sale price, and these are the sale prices across Virginia over our entire MLS. So we see some very poignant numbers here. We see that there's a gradual incline, and if we were to put little dots on that, we could trace the incline going up. Now at the end here, we see a slight dip, but it's still over the 300s, and it's still a little more than it was last year at this time. Now, what will prices continue to do? No one knows for certain. However, we do have these numbers that tell us that most likely that the supply or the average price sale prices for homes will continue to rise, which is something to consider. Now, here's something else that I want you to look at. I'm going to look at days on market here. And as we look at this average days on market, here's something that we noticed. Days on market. If you look at the peak months, February, they're on market, and this is back in 2015. But we start to see, if we could notice some patterns here. November, they're on market a little higher than what they are. See, this is going back to 2011, 68 days back in 2011. That is unheard of right now. And then as we continue to look across this, we can see that in the September, kind of the fall months, winter months, homes tend to be on market a little longer. So why do I bring that up? See, we see the peaks here in the valleys in June. They're not on market long. And we see this kind of pattern happening here. See, in the fall, the winter months, homes tend to stay on the market a little longer. Why is that important? And as we get into March, now again, March 2020, we're in a crazy market right now. Something, as you can see, that we haven't seen in at least the last 10 years or so. But what we do notice is that in April, May, June, July, homes are on the market in September, 7 days. October 6 days, December, this is last year, 7 days. And then we get into the spring of last year. And we noticed that homes weren't on the market that long. In April, in the spring, homes were on the market 5 days. That was the average, which is insane. May, 5 days, June, 6 days, July, 6 days, August, 6 days. And then look at this, September. Now, if we take that information and we compare it to what typically happens as we get into the fall and winter months, we can probably anticipate that homes being on the market will be on the market a little longer. Now, why do I bring that up? I bring that up because as we think about buying, we think about sellers. What are sellers doing? Well, excuse me, what are buyers doing right now? They're kind of taking everybody, just as it seems, as we look at these numbers, everybody says, I want to buy in the spring, I want to buy in the fall, I'm going to be out looking, as the number tells us. In the fall, winter months, not as many people are out looking. As a matter of fact, if we look at this, if we look at closed sales, we look June, peak in June, peak again in June, peak again in June, peak again in June, peak again in June. We can't make this stuff up, folks. June tends, the summer months are the days that people are the months that people are buying homes. And if we look at even in this year, June 2021, and then the closed sales, the number of homes that have sold in Virginia is starting to go down. I bring that up for this reason. If you are thinking about waiting until next year to the fall, to the spring, summer months, you will be waiting with everybody else in Virginia. That's who you're going to be waiting with. Now, as we have seen last year, and we have seen a little bit, and a lot of people are worried about this, the reason why they are fatigued and they may have gone through situations over the summer. You may be that person where you put in multiple offers and you had to do some creative offer writing. Well, if that is you, that you had to compete with everyone else. So you had to do that creative offer writing so that you can get the house that you really wanted. Now, as we're looking at this though, homes for sale, days on market. All right, there aren't as many people out there looking right now. So if you want to put yourself ahead of the game, then one of the best things to do is to look during the fall, winter months, during the off-peak seasons, if you will, and you will better your chances in finding something that is more to your liking and finding something without the competition of other folks. Here's something else I want to show. Shows per listing. Now, I'm actually going to zoom this into the last year. So if we look at shows per listing in 2020, that's kind of when we thought the market was going to crash. It kind of went crazy. And then it was just like, boom, look at this, 4.9 showings per listing. In other words, before a home went on sale, and let's look at this, shows depending, kind of the same thing. What we're seeing is that the number of times that a home has, people have gone into that home before it went onto market. In October 2020, it was 9. The highest it got was in March this year. There were 16. And as we are now, we're looking at September, we're looking at about 10 showings per pending, which is, if you think about that, that means that there are less people who are out there looking right now, which gives you the buyer, a foot up. It gives you it makes you ahead of the game. So if you were purchasing, you're looking to buy, now is the time for that reason. Now, I'm actually going to stop here because I want you to think about something else as well. As you are thinking about buying and you're thinking about waiting, there is something coming out, and well, we all know what it is. It's the interest rates. Interest rates are very low right now, at an all-time low. And we're going to look at some of those numbers in another video. But I want you to chew on this for a second and just think about reconsidering if you are thinking about waiting until the spring or waiting until the fall to purchase. So I hope that helped. And for anyone who is looking to, for anyone that was looking during the summer and you were thinking maybe I needed to wait, I hope that adds a different perspective as to what the market is doing right now, how you can take advantage of it being less competitive. And as always, if you're looking to buy or sell or invest, feel free to give me a call. I would love to continue this conversation with you. And thank you for watching.